Finally, after decades of dedication and becoming one of the most prolific rollerbladers ever, Fabiola da Silva gets her first pro skate.
The best women's vert skater in the world.
Let's take a look at why it's the most well-deserved pro skate of all time, why it's so important to rollerblading, and why it took so long.
I'll never give up, I think. If I wanted to do it, I'm gonna do it, no matter what.
All the stunts are performed by professionals. Do not attempt this yourself. When the announcement was made, it felt like the whole industry was celebrating it. Over 6,000 likes, you've got comments in there from icons, there's a current batch of elite skaters in there was the new generation, all offering congratulations, which just speaks to Fabiola's influence even on the next generation of stars.
I want to learn from Fabiola.
And this hasn't come from nowhere. There's a reason for it. Rewinding back to 1996, at 17 years old, Fabiola won the first comp she ever entered after only a year of skating and got herself a spot on the rollerblade team. A pretty good start, 1 for 1, and I'm not going to bury the lead here, like... Things continued that way in a momentous fashion. She just kept winning.
The explosiveness of Fabiola is unmatched.
She's won over 50 medals from the LG Action Sports World Tour events. She's bagged 8 gold medals from the X Games, the biggest event in extreme sports, and this includes a 7-year stretch where she only lost once in 1999 when she picked up a silver.
Now, there's no girl that seems to be able to skate with you. How far do you think that you can take the sport in style competition, or are you just going to have to skate against the guys?
I'm looking forward to skate with them because they push me. I know girls can do it too.
She was dominating so much, the Fabiola rule was created, allowing females to compete against the males.
A couple of storylines to watch out for. Fabiola da Silva, who's always out here competing against the guys, is looking very strong in the practice sessions.
She's currently ranked 5th in the world, and that is against the men. And she's doing flat 900s like that. That's awesome.
In 2005, she became the first woman ever to land a double backflip on vert. She got a frame from 50/50, a protective glove designed specifically for women. She was immortalized in the computer game Rolling. She even had a figurine that came with a real fabric shirt, which seems a little bit unnecessary. It had a bowl that kind of looked like an ashtray. Her face kind of looked like Morticia Adams. And the rails it came with looked like weapons from Cluedo. Fabiola in the dining room with the lead piping. Most importantly though, it was fully posable for boned out sad plants and more. She's been in movies and played stunt double for Gabriella in the classic rollerblading film Brink.
When you woke up this morning, did you say to yourself, today I'm gonna talk? Or today I'm gonna skate?
Making her one of the few rollerbladers out there with an IMDb page. She was a phenomenon and a media sensation, even attracting sponsorship from outside brands like Gap and Levi's, transcending rollerblading. But despite having one of the most glowing records of achievement in inline skating, it still wasn't enough for Rollerblade to give her a pro skate. What on earth did they want her to do? Grow a second end so they could wheel her around the circus?
I gotta have more cowbell, baby.
Rollerblade ended up actually dashing off their whole team, while Fabiola continued to follow her passion skating. If you're into the vids and you think they're of value, giving a like always really helps, like leaving a comment, subscribing is like bang on. There's a Patreon, there's channel membership with exclusive videos, sneak peeks, I've got merch. These hats are back in stock, skate within your limits and pay the mortgage, and all of it really does genuinely help me out, so cheers. Fast forward to the 28th of April 2022. BMAG posted up an article, The Bladies Movement, Don't Call It a Comeback by Devin Babin, talking about females that have had a huge impact on rollerblading. They covered Angie Walton, who created Daily Bread, Rollerblading's Bible, Natasha Hodgson, the first female to ever get a pro skate, Fallon Heffernan Guillambo, Jenna Downing, Jenny Logue, Mary Muniz, they're all in there, and new names like fellow Brazilian Nicole Machado. Of course Fabiola is in there, and a lot of the article centres around her achievements, influence, and the fact she didn't have a pro skate. It's natural to wonder how a well-known, incredibly skilled female who was on top of the skate world for years and skated park, street and vert didn't get a pro model skate. If there was ever a person to help bring new, young people to the sport, especially future Bladies, it's Fabiola. British icon Jenny Logue added, I think that would have been the most obvious pro model that never was. The article was a clear indication of how Fabiola was viewed by her peers and the industry, and the impact that she'd had. When asked why she thought she never got a pro skate, Fabiola gave a pretty heartbreaking response. Well, to be honest, I don't know. My dream is to have a pro skate. I guess it's every skater's dream. You guys tell me the reason. I truly don't know. Now at the time, Fabiola was skating Roces and she'd been on them for a while. Based off social media, Roces had also been sending her skates since at least like 2021. So clearly she was on their radar, which makes the following even more important. In the article, she explicitly states, I want to have a pro Roces skate and I think it's still possible. I've been skating for 30 years. I'm 42 years old and very athletic. Nothing has changed for me. I still travel doing speeches and for the past 5 years I've been teaching kids and adults how to skate. I really believe the sport can transform lives. It's also worth noting Martina, Roche's team manager at the time, was pictured and mentioned in the article, because 10 months later, when Winterclash hosted the Chances and Challenges for female pros, Martina was questioned about the lack of female representation on Roches.
We never had a woman asked to be in the team. That's like the straight up true.
Hang a bell.
I want to have a pro Roches skate. This was either a lie or a momentous oversight. Either way, alarm bells were ringing and it didn't go unnoticed. So when Roces teased a new skate called Candy 2 months later, people assumed it was for Fabiola. All signs were pointing to this being the most blindingly obvious move Roces needed to make in this instance. All her accolades and achievements, her social media presence, she's a skate park, she's a skate school. The average age of skaters were 35 to 44, an age group that froths at the mouth for nostalgia, and that was clearly working for other brands. Shima's skates were shit hot, Randy's wheels were flying off the shelf. She was also still active and winning comps. They had an open goal with the community screaming for them to score. Reality, the skate was for Bobby.
You must be joking.
No issue Bobby getting a skate. He's a pro on the brand. It's in his contract that he's meant to get a skate. That wasn't the issue. The issue was that people wanted Fabiola to get a skate. Like Rollerblade, the Roches had dropped the ball. And in hindsight, it's a missed opportunity that might have saved Martina a job and maybe even prevented Roches getting sold, or at least they would have sold for a value that they actually wanted. In steps Matthias Knoll, aka the centre court ball boy. Because once you royally drop the ball, Matthias will pick it up. He got a pair of USD skates on her feet, and a year and a half later, Fabiola's got a skate, and everyone's buzzing about it. There is of course always one or two like naysayers. She doesn't deserve a skate now. Why give all these skates who are really not any good at skating now, instead of giving the new pro boots, which is hilariously wide of the mark, seeing as she's still very active, skates at a high level, to the point she's winning comps in Brazil, which shouldn't be overlooked as just a local thing, because the people she's beating are the girls that are now winning competitions all over the world, which we'll get more into soon. Someone quite cautiously said, but if as a culture we keep celebrating old heads and don't make way for some young talent for the next generation to idolise, the sport/culture will slip back into the darkness in no time. She's deserving, but there are deserving young talents on the sidelines wondering when they're going to get a chance. Seems like the message we're sending is, when you're about 45 years old. Now I agree, brands should be cautious of leaning too heavily into nostalgia, as it doesn't really serve them in the long term in most cases. But this is different, and like bringing this up now doesn't really bring any more credence to that point. But it does give us a chance to look at Fabiola's influence now on the next generation and highlight why the skate is so important for the future of rollerblading. Firstly, all the kind of nostalgia releases have been for men. A lot of them have already had skates in the past, and some of the skates were actually re-releases. The Fabiola skate is righting a wrong that's decades old, because she's never had a skate. She's also a female in a male-dominated industry where females are often overlooked despite having massive cultural impacts. If you look at the comments for the skate release, the next generation of like skating superstars, the young talents the person was referring to, are in there, and they're all giving congratulations and loving it because they clearly know how important this is. This year has seen Brazilian skaters putting on incredible displays of skill across really big competitions, including Winterclash, FIS and the World Skate Games, and especially females. And a lot of these females winning these events are heavily influenced by Fabiola. She is a huge part of Della Street, an organisation and contest dedicated to female rollerblading in Brazil, and this is where the likes of Ana Julia and Laura Santos are getting their experience from and coming through to win these competitions. Their impact at the World Skate Games was so big that apparently sales of Mary Muniz's skate, which all the Brazilian girls were wearing at the time, skyrocketed after the games in South America, and it was all over the TV there and they were absolutely hyped off it. Imagine what a Brazilian icon getting a skate does. Like, imagine how motivating that is, and that's where the future of female skating is at. Brazil, along with South Korea and Japan. The skate is an important sign that those who deserve it can be rewarded even decades after missed opportunity. It's especially important as it's a female getting recognition who can often be overlooked, and it shows they have a place at the table. This is starting to happen a little bit more now, and every time it does, it gets a big reaction, as can be seen with Chihiru's skate as well. Because females only make up a small percentage of aggressive rollerblading, they tend to stick together a lot more. This is clear through the camaraderie at competitions. There's such a positive community there with so much potential for growth. Rollerblading really needs to nurture it more. I'm working on another video about how if we gave more focus to female rollerblading, the whole industry would massively benefit from it, so expect that to come out soon. Massive respect to Fabiola, who's had an unmeasurable impact on rollerblading and continues to inspire today. Huge thank you to my Patreons and channel members. I simply couldn't do this without your support, so I appreciate it wholeheartedly. Here's a couple of other videos you can watch until I'm back again soon, hopefully. Spotty dog.